850,000 views we got. So well done. Not quite the million that Stevie J got with the Harry Mackay blunder, but 850,000. So not bad.
That is good. That is good. And the man who said he was out for 3 weeks just before I went to air with Where Are You, Broady? Steve Johnson, who pulled his pants down in the box before to show me his knee that he had operated on last week, and it is like elephantitis at the knee. Your leg, there is something wrong with it, how swollen it is. You need to get it looked at pronto.
I think I might have an infection. I've got a high pain tolerance, Nath, but I think I'm due to touch base with the doctor because it's blown right up and it's quite painful. So, yes.
Dale Thomas.
I don't need to see the doctor, but I'm going all right. And well done to you for putting yourself in mediocre as well.
Yeah. Had to.
And look, that's been the beauty of this week so far. You've really embraced your stuff up, and credit to you.
Every now and again, you stuff. There's worse things you could stuff up, as many people have found.
One of your best mediocres.
They haven't been on air after that.
One of your best mediocres today, I thought. Very good.
I liked it.
Good.
And a man who featured in it is Jay Clark.
People do ask me all the time, Brownie, why is Nathan Brown so obsessed with you? Like, he worries about your hosting, he puts you on mediocre. I'm still yet to come up with a response. So maybe at some point we can enlighten them about the constant sort of talk, etc. So it does seem a little bit weird. Kane talks about me, you talk to Kane.
Well, just ask him. He's right in front of you. Just have the conversation.
Do you have an issue with Jay?
Let's have a 360
Absolutely
feedback
not.
session.
I just like to highlight things that I do wrong. You do wrong, Dale. You do wrong, and it comes up, and Jay you as well.
It feels like Jay-Z's the low-hanging fruit. Like every time Melbourne lose, it's the Melbourne forward line, or it's almost like if you need something, you just go to Jay-Z. He'll always provide you something.
I don't put mediocre together, so I don't find these bits of vision that Jay.
I thought you had a lot of research.
It's not your thing.
Jay keeps on serving up.
You're just the mouthpiece.
Who is the social media man?
No, we can't talk about that.
You're not exactly taking on Eddie Maguire every week, eh?
Eddie was in there today.
Was he?
Yep.
Maybe I should watch it.
He was actually in there.
I should watch it.
And that'll be the last mediocre ever.
Important news, though, Brownie did get a lot of messages this week. The cat's okay. We found the cat because we lost the cat for 24 hours.
We were all worried about that. Lucky you filled us back in.
Well, where was it?
Hadn't thought about it again.
Hang on. Jay-Z.
Take me your cat story.
Where was it, Jay-Z? Where was it?
Where was it?
It was in Ross's dryer.
We think it was in the bottom of my walk-in robe.
Oh, thank gosh.
Where I keep my hats. So
I can rest easy now.
Everyone can take it easy.
Is that where you hit it?
Weird
we do a great show. We're number one for a reason, and we bring our best content. Like last week, when I manufactured that question to Nathan Brewer, that's bringing content to the table, right? But then I worry about our little man here, Joey Montagna. I feel like he brings his best content to his other platforms because he went with this with Kingy.
North Melbourne, this is a roughie, North Melbourne to upset Gold Coast, but then that means North Melbourne will be off the bottom of the ladder, and they will never, ever be on the bottom of the ladder again for about 10 years. This will be the last time we see North Melbourne in 18th spot.
Yep.
And brilliant. And they absolutely saluted for you yesterday. But you had an opportunity last Sunday to go with that because you would have already been thinking about it. Then you had Wednesday, the midweek rub, where you could have gone with it. And then you bypassed both those programs and you went Wednesday night with Kingy with his laptop there where you don't get to put your laptop. Your best stuff is going on Fox. Now, obviously, Fox are paying you more because that's where you put most of your best material.
No, Nathan, I just have to come up with different content because if I say anything the same, I get criticised for reheating old soup and it'll come up with mediocre. So I just thought of that one. But I did the game. It was great to see North Melbourne have the win and I will stick to it now. I don't think we'll see them on the bottom of the ladder for the next 10 years.
Well, we will speak to Charlie Comben about that. He's going well at the moment. Anybody else got anything before we get into some news with Jay?
I think you'll have to ask Charlie Comben. I think he had a crush on my cousin. So there's one for you, Nate. She's 50. So there's a question.
Hang on.
Oh, hang on.
With a bit of warning for Charlie if he's listening.
Who's 50?
Your cousin.
My cousin.
Charlie's 22.
He rates her as a bit of a MILF.
I can't
Down in Tassie just a couple of weeks ago.
When the pause came
Wasn't expecting that at all.
between sedating pigs last week.
good.
That infection has just wound its way up your back, all the way into your brain, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Should we ask our man here, Brownie, Dale Thomas? His ascension, his rise at Channel 7 has gone to a new level.
Yep.
So we know, and I understand, we report on players' contracts and their values and all that sort of stuff. I feel like Daisy's in for a really big payday, and we're seeing the signs sort of week by week. So he's initially on the boundary, and he was too good for that sort of stuff.
Rookie list stuff.
Yeah, rookie list, you know. So they got him up in the comm box to help out Joel and Richo, etc. And then thought, he's bringing a lot to the table. We'll keep him here. And then he started slowly becoming the lead analyst. And then they started putting him on the biggest games. So he's the number one man for the biggest games. He's out of contract. And last week I noted, or this week, they put him on that show.
Talking footy.
What's it? Talking Footy. So now you're not only dominating on
And
the
hosted
weekends,
it. And hosted Talking Footy.
you're now doing the midweek programming. So are we absolutely clear that our man Dale Thomas is on an absolute television rocket to becoming one of the top lead broadcasters and analysts in the game of football? You are sitting
I
on
believe
one of the
he's
biggest.
very tight with Chris Jones as well.
It's been one of the biggest
right?
rises. It's been Isaac Heaney like this year, what Daisy Thomas has done.
How is Jackie Epstein not covering this story?
It's one of the big stories.
Is there a chance you stop whispering? There's a microphone an inch in front of your mouth. Is there any chance you want to come with me to one of these meetings and just say that again?
Well, they listen to our program, and I've just noticed week by week you're becoming, like when Channel 7 do the billboards, previously it's been Lingy and Richo and that, I think you are front and
There's cameras, isn't there?
the front and centre
I hope you're right,
of the
Jake.
new Channel 7
Billboard
program.
Thomas.
Yes. Well done, Dale.
So your manager be busy at this time?
No, she's in Noosa.
And knocking the lights out at Triple M as well. You might have
he's
noticed
hosting the rush hour
he's
as
hosting
well.
the rush
yeah,
hour.
I believe they offered that to Joey, but he knocked it back. Is that?
Yeah, I was the
that-
second phone call.
Why did you knock that back?
I didn't get a phone call.
Are you and Limo?
Have you and Limo still got issues, have you?
It's like,
Because Jay was on the program, so obviously he's cleared up.
no, I didn't get a phone call.
Right.
Maybe Limo didn't want me on it.
Because you did the breakfast show on Saturday with Limo. Yeah.
Dead Set Legends?
Yeah, Dead Set Legends.
Yeah,
How did that go?
We were airborne. And then
Right.
All good things come to an end, and we all went our ways and had different things to do.
Right. That was very good from you, Steve.
Very
And
good.
didn't you mention something last week, Brandy, about us or you doing breakfast radio?
No, that was Stevie.
Well, that's Stevie went off air because I said off air, our ratings on the breakfast, if we put our team together
Yes.
on breakfast, we'd rate the absolute roof off. And then Stevie went with it on air. And that was before Marty.
And then what happened after you said that on air? What happened during the week?
2 days later.
We had some power, didn't we?
And then we had names for the show. Joey's come up with the Monday rub, the morning rub. The morning rub, that'd be a good one. The rubbity dub.
Oh, could you imagine us doing breakfast radio together? My God.
We'd have some laughs, that's for sure.
Would Stevie turn up? How would we get you
Yeah,
there?
he'd
at
turn
6
up.
o'clock?
On his way
Might
home.
have been
He couldn't be on a link. Remember the time he was on a link? He didn't speak for an hour and a half and still put an invoice in?
Gee.
So who's up for a breakfast slop if we get it?
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
No, oh, you're on everything. I don't know whether you've got time.
Second hour.
You're at the second hour.
Oh, very good.
Limo could be the comedian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Jay-Z, what do you got?
Did Joey just say he was out? Or you're in?
No, I'll be there.
Are you out because Limo's in?
I'll do it. You're an
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You are an idiot.
This is where the ABC boys, and they're talking their straight
Oh,
lane.
no, they've got their analytics. Hang on, Delidio's talking analytical stuff about North Melbourne's clearances yesterday. Hang on. Jump over to ABC, everyone. If you want to hear about Tristan Sherry, go and listen to the other station.
Are you rinsing someone about analysis?
Poor old Lids and Mark Murphy. I feel sorry for him. We should get him on here.
We've done not bad considering we started the show. Has anyone got anything? We all said no.
Can we get them on? Should we have them on as a chat?
No.
And ask them what they talk about and how much they'd love to join us. Oh, my God. Great start, Brandon.
All right, that's a good start. That's the first 10 minutes now. There's a bit of swearing going on, which I don't condone.
Yes, well, not often do you hear an AFL senior coach drop the F-bomb in a press conference, but that's what happened yesterday. How frustrated was Gold Coast Suns' Damien Hardwick? Well, let's take a listen.
Oh, it hurts. It certainly hurts. It's probably... We've just got to grow up as a footy club. to be perfectly frank. We sit there and give ourselves enough opportunities, but we just don't play our moments. And it's my job as a coach to sit there and demand better, because at the moment we're capable of beating the premiership favourites last week, and then this week we let ourselves down. Now, in fairness, North Melbourne have been playing bloody well, and congratulations to them. They played an outstanding game of footy today, but we have 62 inside 50s. Our connection, our contest work inside 50 was poor. Our clearance work was poor. I'm angry, to be fair. And as a footy club, we've got to grow the up, to be perfectly honest. Excuse the language, but we've been in this situation too many times. So it's up to me and the match committee to sit there and get our boys going.
So they can't win on the road, the Gold Coast Suns, and they were pretty average, I thought, again yesterday against North Melbourne, minus Georgie Wardlaw. Spoken with the AFL today. So Wayne Campbell, the footy boss of the Gold Coast Suns, Brownie, got on the front foot, rang Laura Kane, the AFL footy boss, and said, look, Damon's just swore in his press conference. Apologies, won't make a habit of it, but just, acknowledging that before it potentially blows up. The AFL accepted the apology. There'll be no official action, no please explain, but I think he doesn't want to. Shouldn't make a habit of it, Browning.
So, Stevie, you're the only one that's coached in this box.
You say the only one that's sworn.
The only one that's coached in this box. So, what is he trying to do there? Because there's a lot of time between the game for him to calm down, to not swear. Is it a pointed message at his players?
It could be. It could be. Sometimes coaches use that platform to send a message to their players. Whether their players listen to the press conferences or not these days, I don't know. But for him to make those comments maybe 30 or 40 minutes post-game's a little bit surprising, given the emotions normally out of it and you've had time to sort of gather your thoughts and go to the press conference with what you need to say going forward. So for him to sort of come out and say that was certainly...
Apart from swearing, though, and I think it's a valid point, what else are you meant to say? There's only so many times you can go into a press conference and almost fluff your way through it. I think he was just being raw and honest of the fact that they got to start taking these opportunities when they present. They had moments, and he needs to obviously coach the moments better so they can take them, but it's also on the players. So.
Yeah, but that's what you'd like to hear him start to talk about, what the solution is and what they're doing to try and turn around that form, or what they need to change in terms of when they go into state to try and get a win on the board.
I didn't mind it. We always know coaches at press conferences are speaking to their players, and that is a pointed message for the world to hear, that he's telling his players, enough of this. It is time to, whatever it is, find a way to win. And I think it was great. And now what's going to be interesting is to see whether we find a response from this Gold Coast team at the back end of the year.
Do you give him a pass mark? Do you give Damien Hardwick a pass mark for the year so far? So they got all the talent in the world.
No.
They went and got the premiership coach.
No, not if they don't make finals.
Yeah,
the draw they've had, they should be playing finals. So they've won all their games at home. The games they've given up away from home, they've looked second rate. And again, yesterday, it was a good game of footy. North Melbourne playing great, but they should have won that game where they had. So I don't give them a pass mark. Finals would have been a pass mark.
I do, because I think I can see it. I'm not big whether it's finals or you just miss. A couple of years ago, I remember Carlton...
We're talking about this year, though.
Yeah, this year I give them a pass mark because I can see it now. I can see the system they play, the style they play.
You're talking about
outside of the Gold Coast?
Yeah, but you've got...
But we're talking about this year.
That's right. So for this year, the way they have played, I can see that they are building something that will be sustainable.
So you give them a tick?
So it's not... Yeah, I'll give them a tick. Yeah, I do. I think they are on the right track. Now, whether they finish 7th, 8th, 9th, does it really matter, Jay-Z?
Well,
7th, 8th, 9th? I don't think it really does in the long term.
For the relevance of the football club to not play finals again.
To try and win to get where they want to get to. We saw a couple of years ago, Carlton finished 9th. They missed finals. Everyone said it was a disaster. They should have been playing finals. Then they came out and went to a prelim. And now they're one of the premiership favourites. I think whether they finish 7th, 8th, 9th or 10th, it doesn't matter for me. I think they have shown that in the few years they are heading in the right direction.
No, they should be as hungry as ever to be playing finals, given they've got the opportunity, I think. And any type of finals experience, whether you bow out in week 1 or not, has to help you going forward.
Is that a complacency, Joey?
What's the complacency?
Well, are they just happy to meander? I'm with Brownie.
It's a reality of how we view the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah, they're that irrelevant as a football club that you think under David
Irrelevant
Hardwick.
of a football club's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But we just understand that they are probably the 8th to 12th best side at the moment, at their very best.
I just don't believe in pass marks. I don't think there's a line that you go, if they win one more game, that's a win. If they win one less, I think it's all about winning premierships or being a top 4 team to give you a chance to win flags is what every side is aspiring to do. And I think we can all agree that we see Gold Coast getting towards a top 4.
Are they mentally fragile?
They've still got a long way to go in their development. Win away from home, win close games. All that is part of your development, and I think that they've still got a long way to go, but I think they're heading in the right direction.
Should they get Dustin Martin next year?
No. You know what they've got to do? Turn Bailey Humphrey into the next Dustin Martin would be a better solution for that football.
I think they need to get Daniel Rioli more than Dustin Martin.
Easier said than done, turning someone into dust. And Martin, we're going to head to a break for the first time on the Sunday Rub. Jay-Z's Big Three up after the break. Quick choice hotels around the ground.
Melbourne with the first goal. We're going to speak about Adam Simpson's future after this. But the D 6 points up over West Coast.
Jay-Z's Big Three. Charlie Comben not far away from McDonald's Room Hot Water. Triple M, Rocks Footy. Welcome back to the Sunday Rub. Marvel Stadium, St Kilda taking on Sydney, not far away from Charlie Comben from the Kangaroos. They're going okay at the moment. Leon Cameron, the GM of Footy, and Ross Lyon, the coach of St Kilda, will join us. But it's time for...
This is Jay-Z's Big Three.
Well, we've got a big game coming up next Friday night as Geelong take on Collingwood at the MCG. Flip of the coin. We know Collingwood are pretty average after quarter time. Their defensive frailties were exposed by the Bombers in those last three quarters. And the Cats got the job done pretty comfortably over Hawthorn yesterday. In fact, that game was over very, very early as they cruised to 51-point winners. They have had an issue in the midfield, haven't they, Stevie? We've been questioning the Cats' midfield and whether they've got the quality in there. We've seen Chris Scott make some moves. Tommy Stewart's gone into the on-ball group. We've seen Sam de Koning play quite well in the ruck, to be honest, from centre half back. Max Holmes has come in and out a little bit, and Patrick Dangerfield's rejoined that midfield group off the hamstring. And despite saying that he would have to change his game a little bit. Let's have a listen to the Geelong coach, Chris Scott, pump up his superstar midfielder for his efforts off the back of that hamstring injury.
Really good. And even to my untrained eye, some of his ground balls at speed. I mean, I would forgive him a little bit. And I think even when he did the last one, he said, maybe I've got to rethink my technique a little bit. If I were him, I wouldn't do some of the stuff he does coming off those hamstrings, but he's like, it looks to me like he only knows one way to play, and he tested it today more than a few times and looked pretty good.
So how do you think they will go against the power and might of Jordan De Goey, Nicky Dacos on the big stage on Friday night?
Well, they just need to make sure they try and match the opposition entries because we know their forward line is as good as anyone's when they're up and about. Jezza was unbelievable again last night. Brad Close kicked the 4 goals. I thought Sean Manor coming in, he was desperate. He laid the 14
good,
tackles last night.
14 tackles.
Their forward lines with Myers and those guys around is as good as anyone's. They just need to make sure they get the supply. We know their back six is pretty good as well. There's no doubt that is the question mark, though. Their midfield against the absolute top echelon midfields in the competition, is that where they fall a little bit short?
Getting Collingwood a good time, though, on Friday night. Brody Myercheck being out, I think their midfield is going just okay. Dacos is, if it's not Dacos and De Goey doing the damage, who's going to do it? If they put some time into them, and obviously Atkins will probably go to one of them, what else have they got at the moment?
And I think they're being hurt, and you did the numbers this weekend, Joey. I think their back half is the part of the game which looks all at sea for mine. And we saw these issues come to the fore in the last month of last season. They conceded 100 points 3 times out of 4 games, and that's happened a little bit this year. We all know that Darcy Moore's having his form struggles. There's been no Nathan Murphy, who almost plays that Jake Lever role for Melbourne. Do you think Collingwood in the back half are good enough to make something serious out of this back-to-back premiership tilt?
Not really. Not the way they're playing for the majority of this year. They've been streaky all year. Now, we know they're talented enough, and offensively they can kick scores and come from behind, and we've seen them do that. But over the course of the season... excuse me, they've been inconsistent, and I don't think you can just flick a switch and necessarily get that rolling, particularly defensively. It has been a concern, and, everyone's talked about Darcy Moore, but Quaynor hasn't been the same this year. Braden Maynard hasn't had the same year. The midfielders aren't defending anywhere near as hard as they probably did last year when they were chasing that flag. So they've been off defensively, and I think teams have been able to expose that.
We spoke about Chris Scott's moves a little bit earlier. Sam de Koning into the ruck has been a genuine surprise. I don't think anyone really saw this coming, of course, with Mark Blitzarv's out, Reece Stanley having his injury issues, Toby Conway hasn't been available. So de Koning's come in and shown a lot very quickly. Chris Scott, a huge fan of his work doing well in quick time.
The risk is that he was going to come up against sort of well-credentialed ruckmen that have played 200-odd games in that position. And I'm not sure whether it's well-known or not, but Sam grew a lot in his last couple of years of junior footy. Before that, he describes himself as a half-back flanker, not even a key position player, and certainly not a ruckman. So he's even further back than some of the young ruckmen that have come through junior footy. But no, like, I don't know, a month or so ago, whatever it was, I wasn't too flat with how we were going. Disappointed and a bit annoyed, but not overreacting. And we're not going to overreact now. We've had a couple of wins, and I don't think we should overreact with individuals either, but it's reasonable to say that the signs are good.
So I want you to nominate one club here for me, fellas. I'm going to ask each of you. Sydney and Carlton look like the grand finalists. If we have to time capsule it now, they've been the standouts. Who have you got as the next best team in the competition? Who is the biggest threat to Sydney and Carlton? You can nominate one club, Brownie.
Fremantle Dockers.
Joey?
Yeah, Fremantle.
I'm with those two, Fremantle.
Slightly controversial, the Giants.
You saw enough last night.
I still think what they did at the start of the season was as good a profile as anyone, and they've figured out a way, as we saw last night, to get back to that. They continue that, they're going to be as hard to beat as anyone.
Well, Fremantle's probably the only other possible team to make the top two, aren't they? If they can make the top two, if Carlton waver in their form on the run home and Fremantle finish in the top two and are able to get a home final and then a home prelim, they can certainly make the grand final.
Fremantle Essendon on 42 points, Geelong and Port Adelaide on 40.
It wasn't exactly a huge statement by Chris Scott that he grew in his last 2 years of school, was it?
Well, a bit new to rucking. He said he was playing as a half-back flanker a lot.
The best thing that happened to him was getting touched up by his brother the other week.
Yeah, that was his first week in the
Yeah.
ruck. And his
Thought he
brother
played
did touch
okay
him
that
up, but
night as well.
he didn't embarrass himself.
But I think when you're a player like that, and we've probably all been there, you've gone up against a better player and you go, geez, I'm that far off, but I need to work on this. This is my clear deficiencies. I think that's been a big turning point.
It's been great from Chris Scott to regenerate this team because De Koning was looking flat as a key defender. He was paddling and not giving much. And,
He'd had an average year.
Had an average year. So I like it. I think long term, I still think Conway's probably going to be their number one man. I think De Koning can be the next Blitzarfs. He can be a guy they can play anywhere around the ground, wherever they need him, second ruck. And
An
like
unicorn.
you said, the next
Luke
unicorn,
Jackson.
'cause that sort of style of player. So Chris Scott's done a great job.
Big story over in the West this week. It didn't get a lot of cut through over here in Melbourne, but there was a back page story on the West Australian saying that Adam Simpson's future was in doubt, or in fact he was in real trouble because the players were off him and had circulated some text messages from players saying that he didn't have their support and was in real trouble. Have a listen to his press conference, how he handled it throughout the week, and you tell me whether there's anything in it.
Have you seen the back page of the West Australian?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. Yeah. So, look, it's not ideal, but it's not uncommon either. So, yeah, I think it happens all the time, Duff, to be honest. So, happened when I was under Dennis, happened when I was working with Clarko, and it happens all the time. So, I think take it for what it is and move on. So I won't be checking everyone's phones, put it that way.
So, are you confident you have the support of the player group?
Yeah, I am. Despite whatever's in the paper today, like I said, we've got 15 to 20 players who don't get a game every week. We've got probably 10 players who, will be off the list at the end of the year. So there's always people that are disgruntled. It's just part of the job. So we can't apologise for trying to get better. But no, I think I've still got the players.
So explain what's happened.
So on the back page of the West Australian throughout the week, there was a story about how the players, I feel like I said this just before.
No, but exactly about the text messages and who might have
They were
sent
critical. They were critical of Adam
Yep.
Simpson. They're off him, etc.
And they've been leaked.
And that they appeared on the back page of the West Australian. So it's
The texts.
a big story.
But they can
We
be
didn't
doctored as
explain
well,
it, did he?
can't they?
Pardon?
So the text messages,
Yep.
do they know who sent the text messages?
Yeah, I don't
Are
think
they
they were-
circulating like a WhatsApp type thing when they go around?
No, I don't think they.
No names.
I don't think they put them in the actual story.
Oh.
The words of it, but it was just that some text messages were
But
circulating.
would
It
Adam
was
Simpson
radical.
know what players have sent these text messages? That would be the question.
This is the question for you guys. He said it's not uncommon. In your experience, you all played 300 games nearly. How often did you text message about the coach and whether he should be in the job or not? Have either of you seen that or done that? Daisy's giggling.
Of course,
the Rat
Of
Pack.
course it happens, yes.
I was giggling that I got a message once from an assistant coach at my time at Carlton, and it was after a pre-season game we played the Saints, and I got a text and said, Daisy ? Surely done? And I was like, it's a bit weird. I was right back. Good luck trying, in a pre-season game. He's like, what about effort Q1, Q2, Q3? He thought he was texting a different Dale who was an assistant coach in Dale Amos.
Oh.
And talking about you.
Talking about me, I just said...
So it happens.
It would happen.
It happens both
and he's
ways,
right.
Jay.
There'd be
But you
players
don't want
disgruntled
names
with
to
their
get
coaches.
out.
No.
That would be the question. How do these text messages get out and how the names that are associated with it? So does Adam Simpson know what players sent what text messages? That's the question that you evaded before.
Yeah, I don't think he would. I would be surprised. I don't know, but I would be surprised if that's got back to him.
Nervous times if you're a player and you've sent one.
Well, and did you notice him?
It is different, though, I will say, Jay-Z, between, as he's right, disgruntled players that aren't getting a game, players don't see eye to eye. That happens all the time. It would be a concern if it, say, his leaders, and his leaders are texting one another. You know, I'm not going to name names, but the leadership of the footy club, the playing group.
Tim Kelly, Elliot Yeo.
If they're all texting each other, I think that would be a concern. If it's disgruntled players that aren't happy or don't like the way he goes about or thinks he shouldn't be there, I think that would be pretty common.
You wouldn't have texted anything ever about Richo, would you?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Scotty Waters?
I don't think so.
Mark Thompson?
Never.
Stevie J?
Unbelievable coach. I was very lucky.
I thought the clip at the end where he sort of said, well, there's 10 players who probably won't be on the list anymore, is that Simo indirectly going back to the players saying, well, if you're this disgruntled element, the pity party, you might not be here.
Yeah.
No, I agree with
Probably
that.
right.
I agree with that. Good one. I like that one.
Good.
Choice hotels around the grounds.
Melbourne up by 19 points over West Coast. So there was another report saying if they were no good today that Adam Simpson could go as West Coast senior coach. All sounds very dramatic, but currently Melbourne leading by 19 points over the Eagles. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Okay, let's head to a break. Up after the break, the Kangaroos' young gun, Charlie Comben, is going to join us on the Sunday rub for McDonald's Room Order Triple M. Rocks Footy. Welcome back to Marvel Stadium. St Kilda taking on the Sydney Swans, but it was the Kangaroos yesterday who climbed off the bottom of the ladder, and their young gun centre halfback Charlie Comben has been a big part of that. We welcome him on to the Sunday rub. And Charlie, congratulations, and you must be pretty proud of your football club at the moment.
Nah, I certainly am, and thanks heaps for having me, guys.
Hey, you must be proud of the footy club, Chong. Come on. Come with a bit of energy, mate. Big win yesterday. Boys, you've been sort of toiling away. You've been getting close. It must have been a great feeling.
Nah, it certainly was. Yeah, geez, I don't sound too excited, do I? But we had a great time after the game yesterday, just soaking up the win. Even doing a little lap around the ground post game is a great feeling, and I think something that we can share with our fans that they haven't had a lot of over the last few years. So yeah, we definitely soaked that one up.
What has been the turnaround in the last 4 to 5 weeks? Have you gone to work on anything different than you were at the start of the season?
Yeah, we had a break over our bye and went back to the drawing board about our game plan. We've just tried to focus a bit more on contests and trying to put the ball more in a contest. We've got players that suit that game style, like Wardlaw, LDU in there, even Shees on the outside to complement that. And we've just tried to apply a lot of pressure and win the ball at the source. I think we won our clearance count by about 15 yesterday. So that's been the main turning point. That's kept us in games. They've probably been a bit more scrappy than we were playing at the start of the year, but it's really held us in good stead post-bye.
And your personal move to centre-half back, I think it was around Gather Round where you played your first game back there. You had 25 touches. It might have been on Joe Danaher, who kicked a couple himself. But how did that move eventuate and how are you enjoying it?
Yeah, Clarko come to me late last year and said, look, mate, we're going to try centre-half back. I'd played for my whole career, all through my juniors, and never been down back. And I was a little bit apprehensive to start, but it kind of come naturally to me. I'm a shock and set shot goal kick, so I haven't had to do that too much, which has been good. But just intercepting the ball, reading the play. I've still got a lot to work on. Like Sam Day got a hold of me yesterday. I looked over at one stage and thought I was playing on the duck, but there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room to get better in, but I'm learning each week, and yesterday was definitely a learning curve.
I was going to say that, Charlie. It was Pete Wayne Carey there for a while with Sam Day, wasn't it? It's probably the first time, to be fair, because you have been in super form, that you had your lowers coloured at half time. How did you handle that? What was sort of your focus? Because then your second half was terrific.
Yeah, I was a little bit rattled. My contest work was pretty shit, and that's something I pride myself on. Sam beat me in a lot of 1v1, so it was just kind of taking stock at half time. And Lukey McDonald, Aiden Core, the two older boys in the back line were really good at helping me take stock and just say, look, mate, focus on the second half, which I think I was able to do in the end, luckily, but a very shaky start yesterday.
Speaking of North Melbourne young star Charlie Comben, congratulations on your contract too, Charlie. Very well deserved. I understand that 3 or 4 weeks ago, well, John Brown actually said this on Fox Footy on the couch, that before, was it the West Coast game, Alistair Clarkson opened up a bit, talked about, or showed some vulnerability around, some of his own personal struggles, or there was a particular moment with him and the group before that West Coast game. Can you explain what happened there?
Yeah, we're up on the West Coast, and yeah, Clark opened up. We were just been at a club function. He spoke about the importance of connection and really getting to know one another on a personal level, which obviously most football clubs do have an emphasis on that. But I feel like that's something that we've really tried to explore deeper this year. And yeah, Clark opened up about, obviously he's had a pretty tumultuous last year and a half, and he more or less said that, look, like, he's all in. He has been struggling with it, and yeah, he just wanted us to understand what he'd been going through, it was a really special and touching moment, and I think the boys really appreciated that.
Sorry,
yeah,
was he emotional?
He was a little bit. Yeah, it was a pretty candid chat. But yeah, it's something we really appreciate. I feel a lot closer to him for that as well.
Charlie, do you know my cousin?
Here we go.
I don't know if you've received any text messages in the last 45 minutes. Do you know my cousin?
Which cousin?
Kath Osborne.
I do. My dad's very, very good mates with her partner.
Did you have a crush on her?
Stevie's outed you on air, Charlie. Said you may have had a crush on it.
Oh, that is brilliant.
What about growing up? We all had favourite players. Mine was Gary Ablett Sr. for obvious reasons. Did you have one?
I do. I had a couple. Nicky Rewalt was one of my favourites, but also Joey. Joey was in the number 11 running around the wing, racking it up. Loved him through 09 and in 2010. I got the chance to tone that a couple of weeks ago, and I stumbled on my words a little bit. So, in the presence of greatness, you boys are.
Has he been your inspiration for taking more kick-ins?
He certainly has. The cheek goes a long way, I'll tell you.
And did Charlie, did you have the great man on your podcast recently? And how did he go? Did he deliver?
No, he was very good. He come in very hot. Had a bit more excitement than I did coming on today, but it was really good. Yeah, it was great.
I love the way Colby McKercher goes about it, particularly the bit of play around the outer side at Marvel Stadium yesterday where he used his pace from half-back, took 3 bounces. I think it was a lucky kick coming into Larky, but the fact that he was prepared to take the game on the way he did.
Yeah, mate, I've loved what Colby's been able to bring, especially in his first game back, to come out and, use the ball so well, but also provide so much offense off the back half for us. But I love when he takes the game on and runs down the wing and takes those bounces. And I think that's something we'll probably see for a long time. But mate, I couldn't believe it when he took 4 or 5 bounces. Then admittedly he kicked it off his shin, but the game is a funny way of working out when you're taking on. So I love what Colby's bringing.
And before we let you go, Charlie, congratulations on your season, mate. I think when Benny Mackay left, there were some fears about how the key defensive structure would hold up, but you've been outstanding. Just remind the North Melbourne fans and the listeners how many broken bones you've had over your junior and senior career, because you have shown a lot of resilience and overcome a lot of challenge throughout playing football.
Yeah, a bit of a funny one. I've had 23 or 24. I'm not quite sure. I lost count somewhere around 17, 18, but...
do you need to drink a bit more milk, Charlie?
maybe calcium's the answer.
His nickname was Mr. Upside in the draft.
Is that right?
That's right.
That is a load of rubbish.
Hey, Charlie, well done.
Drink some more milk. Yeah.
Well done yesterday, Charlie. You got a massive trip to the SCG against the ladder leaders next week. Good luck to your footy club.
Awesome. Thanks, heaps, guys. Appreciate it.
Charlie Comben was a good chat then from the Kangaroos.
Yeah, he's a good player too. They can build a defence around him. He's an absolute star.
I think Ross Lyon is up on the boundary line here. Nathan Brown, has he joined us?
Yes,
not yet.
That would be why I'm the host.
There's another one. There's another one.
I throw to them.
Jeez. I thought with your back to him, you might not have seen that he was there. I thought he put his headset on. But it just means now with Logan McDonald re-signed, he gets a sick pleasure out of it, doesn't he?
You're real sicko.
We're good to go. It's very, very good that we get a coach on game day, and he's down there with Robbo.
He's got a massive smile smile on his face because he heard that whole conversation about you.
I was going to ask the first question. Has anyone come straight from karaoke?
Seriously. He said, just let him go, let him go. Oh, wow,
God.
that's a good start.
Take us away.
Yeah, reshaped side.
I take
Ross.
that as yes.
We're just keeping the seat warm, Ross. You got no issues coming back.
Have a litre and a half Gatorade.
Okay, we've got a reshaped side, 5 changes and Max King out the key. So do you got to find a way, Ross?
Yeah, look, the benchmark of the competition. So we lost a few King with the posterior, so that was really unfortunate for us, but gets us set for the summer. But look, it's a reasonably experienced team. I just went through it before. I think 1 to 3 year players, we've got 6 or 7, which is about a third of the team. But it's a great experience. Philippou comes back in. We build his craft out in the midfield, and his attitude was, mate, just leave me there until you feel. And I feel that my midfield craft is ready to go at senior level, because we just threw him in there from a transition forward. And then when you drill into his top year 18, he said, I only played 8 games in midfield, and that was the back end. So he's been great with his attitude. He could have done with a bit longer there, but we're really keen to, expose him to the best in the comp and see how he goes.
You know it's coming. We just spoke to Leon Cameron, the GM of the footy club at Sydney.
He was at a Giants.
No, he's at Sydney.
Just left the dogs.
Head of academy.
He runs the joint there now.
But
the mids are coming. They're mids. They're a strong unit in there, and they would have revved them up for today to get out of the blocks.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like AFL footy, they've been jumping out really well. And really, there was a lot of noise made about them last week, and I think they should have had 5 more shots than the Doggers. The Doggers kicked 19-5, so probably if you did expect the score, they win. So we understand they're in pretty good form. They're pretty fit and available. But our form's been solid, to be fair. Like, really, watching the game again in that last quarter, I'm not sure how we didn't get it done against Port. We had plenty of opportunity. I thought we were bold. We still took it on through the corridor, moved the ball, went to contest. We just didn't finish very well. And then against Brisbane, we're pretty good, and they're in form. So our constant battle is trying to build out our midfield and get some form in there. And really, the CSBs cost us the game last week, to be fair, which our group would know. Like, it was 1-10 at half time. They kicked 3-1, and that was the difference in the game. So I was really disappointed. So I've got to get it right in the middle. Rowe's got a really good record on Grundy. We'll start there. Ryan Burns comes in, who's a really hard-running winger. Wood will still stay forward a fair bit. He'll play a little bit of wing, but he's been in good form forward. And we think our running backs, Naz and Sinclair and Showmakers, come in and use the ball pretty well, a handful. And Wilkie and Battle are in ripping form. Howard gets an opportunity. He needs to stand up today. And Owens and Tim Membry comes back in with a bit of experience against his old club. So there's certainly no excuse for us. We know it's going to be tough, but we're up to measure ourselves. We understand the standards and the habits, and our effort today. What you set now accounts for future success. So that's what we're doing.
It's a long answer, Ross.
I'm trying to chew up the time. Robbo looked very serious.
Rossi, Jason's hand was up the whole time, and his arms started getting tired.
I know you blokes can't. Where's your ADD tablet?
Tell us about the acting
Jono,
career,
you've
Ross.
clearly got him, yeah.
It's the acting career, mate. It's taken off this year. You're starring in the Uber Eats ad. Now, little
I've got
birdie,
to feed the kids.
Little birdie tells me that with your first edition, they said, "Well, give us your spray," and you gave it some, and it wasn't quite good enough. They were a bit unsure. They said, "You need to give it more, Ross," and then you went full throttle with the coaching spray. Is that how that played out?
Yeah,
with Uber Eats?
the creative producer, I forget her name now. So she was like, "Can you really do it?" And I said, "Trust me, I can get this done." Right? And then I was in my office at work, and no one knew what I was doing. I never knew I was doing an audition. I thought it was just a formal approval. I don't do audition processes. I don't go through processes. So then I was like, I got really annoyed. And then I just vented on her as she was a player that had let 1-9 out of the centre bounce like last week. So she goes, no, that's enough. You got the job. So look, that was a unique experience. I didn't get paid what Kardashian got, I know that.
Hey, Ross, if you wanted to get a narrative out into the media, is your man Joey or is it Jay-Z? Who do you go to?
Well, honestly, I think about you, Brownie, but you're very hard to get hold of. You're always on the crypto sort of currencies doing your research. So, look, I actually bar no one. I'll go to anyone. I'll go to Tom Morris. I'll go to Mitch Cleary. I'll go to Jay. I've learnt the game. It's all... everyone's just looking for a hook. Everyone's got a hook for the week.
Hey, Rossi, I do my own analysis. The analysis says St Kilda are one of the best teams in the competition at moving the ball from the back half. Number one, from turnover to score. Do you get frustrated with this narrative about the, boring Ross and the mundane style of football?
Did he send you this text? Did he send you this
Did Ross send you that text?
Hang on, Ross, let me just read what you said. Can you ask me, Joey, why does everyone say I play a boring style when we're one of the best teams at moving the ball from the back half?
No, I don't. I've actually checked out of all content. Once it become as irrational and exuberant as it's become, I thought, what's the point? So I flicked out of it. It's been actually really good for me.
What about the Sunday
people
rub?
ring me, bar the Sunday rub. People ring, we're always playing on the Sunday. People ring me and they go, yeah, okay. I go, what are you talking about? I don't listen to anything anymore. So it's actually really empowering. So back to it. No, does it surprise me that people don't know, the experts within the media, that we're number one or two from... We actually score more from defensive mid than Sydney do. So not many would know that. Our weakness is scoring from stoppage, getting the ball back centre forward, so the front half game. And in our forward 50, when we do get them, we get them on average as much as nearly everyone. We just don't get goals from them for some reason. It's a frightening stat when you look at it. So we're pretty clear on the areas we need to improve, but that talks about building out a bit more speed and power within stoppage. And then centre forward, we're working really hard with Corey Enright on our team defence.
And when you're thinking about deploying Windhager today, you don't have to tell us who he's going to go to, but
Yes,
you've
you do.
got an accumulator there, you've got a player there with power and speed, and you've got a player that's really strong in the contest. All of them have pretty good engines. Is it more about what suits him as a player than necessarily choosing one player and saying he's the most damaging out of those three that you might go after?
Yeah, that's how we would look at it, but we're not going to tag today. We're just going to back ourselves in more.
Ooh.
So it was like Hydra last week. You cut the head off one and the other head pops up, and then do you know who Hydra is, Steve?
No,
No,
idea.
it's the
Greek
three-headed
mythology.
monster.
Yeah.
That's okay. Won't get out of there's not too much Greek mythology out there. So unless someone really just starts ripping it, because they just pulled apart our team defence a little bit. You can play it, but we'll give him first crack, and then we know he's there if someone really needs to be called. When we beat them last year, it's a long 12 months, isn't it, up there? He went to Warner in the last quarter when Warner was really getting to work. It was difficult conditions, so he went to Warner in the last, and Warner didn't really like it, really. Then they pushed him forward out of the midfield to sort of break the tag. So just when he come back, we just went to him in that last quarter. So look, we'll probably just back ourselves at the start and then see how it unfolds.
You touched on Max King earlier, Rossi, and you said something about the summer. Do you think this could be the making of him? A chance to really go away, put some size on, have a really good crack at getting his body 100% right, and then just, with obviously a little bit of luck, the making of the bloke? Yeah,
for sure. Like, for sure. So he, 2 shot of Rico's in basically 12 months. He's a bit, well, he had the ladder jar in the second one, so I mean, that's really disruptive. He come back, he averaged 3 goals a game last year. That's huge without a pre-season, and we were a solid team. And then the week before against Brisbane, he kicked 3-2, I think. He should have nailed 5, and then he tears his PCL. So, look, I just think the hype and the negativity around him, I don't understand. Because anyone that dives into his metrics, which we've done, he's an exceptionally performed young player. Anyone that really wants to dive in, so... but to your question, I'm sure he'll come back bigger and better than ever. Got a close relationship with him, got his back, I'll support him. And, people talk about trading him. You think, have you got an ulterior or motive to get him to your club of choice? Like, it's bizarre.
Too much fingernail deep analysis, Ross.
And just quickly, what about did you have a little buy party up at the President's House? I read Mark Robinson's piece with him. Andrew Bassett said he had all the players and families up for a nice little soiree. How was that?
Yeah, that was handy, his place. Billionaires tend to have reasonable houses. But look, I put a request into him, mate. I'm sick of the canals. You need to get on the waterfront. You need to get on the surf beach at Mermaid Beach. So he might be putting that up for sale, and hopefully next year we're on the waterfront.
Ross, we appreciate you giving up your time on a Sunday. Good luck today against the Swannies.
Thanks, lads. Keep that seat warm.
Good luck, Rossi.
Ross Lyon there.
I think Joey answered your
very,
question.
Very funny interview. Now, LISTNR. You can also download and listen to the Rush Hour, which you've been doing with Limo.
There's me dad.
Mick Malthouse is in the next box that you're not paying any attention. You're just talking to Mick.
Yeah, we've got a reunion
tight.
Friday night,
Yeah.
so I look forward to feeding Bushy full of a couple of red ones.
What's the reunion? 2010.
No, well, because we didn't
14.
have the official celebration in 2020 because of COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, so we've obviously had a 5-year reunion and we've done every year since.
He's come in.
Mick's just wanted into the box, so we look forward to Friday night. Weirdly, we're doing it against Geelong, who of course beat us in a grand final, but he's just come in and demanded a headset.
He has.
I have never seen somebody move so fast. Hey, is this a nice opportunity for you two to patch some wounds there too, Bushy? Because famously,
Come into play. What does coming to play mean, Mick?
you can talk. You got the. Oh, he's going to elbow him.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to talk. He's not allowed
Police
to
place
talk.
next door, who I'm actually working for.
That's only Boom. I wouldn't worry.
Well, Boom was my captain in 2008 in the Australian side. You come over
Yes,
in
loved it.
2010 into the Irish thing.
Enjoyed it thoroughly.
This is my.
Why is he your favourite? Why is Dale Thomas your
Why is
favourite?
my favourite?
A favourite.
Because if I said he's my favourite, I would never get spoken to again by Johnson and Lucuria and Jakovic and all this. And he's why? Because he listened to me and he was always there and he always. I never had a bad game from Daisy.
Was he worth the $750 to get across the Carlton?
Is that all you got? They dudded you.
Did you get a ring?
They couldn't pay me and you.
Well, that's what they said. They were pinching off me to give to you. You only got $750.
Yeah, I know. That's
You
going
have
great
been
these
dudded.
days. Yeah, I
Do you
agree.
remember at the end of 2009 when I rang you from New York asking if I could come to Collingwood?
I rang him and he said, "Don't touch it."
Do you remember that?
Mick tried to get me to the Pies at the end of
Oh,
06.
okay, here we go.
Oh, as well.
Then you fell off that.
that was a
you broke both legs and everything else, and then
He
made
still
out.
wanted me.
Made out. And the doctor said, "Don't touch him because he's got a weak heart." So if you want to keep loading them up, I'll keep serving them up. This channel doesn't mean anything to me.
Friday night.
Yes.
We're going to have a get-together. You looking forward to it?
I only found out last week.
Oh.
So clearly Nick Maxwell organised it. Would have been a club.
Yep. No, it is Maxie.
And Maxie be making something out of it somehow.
I think somehow he's weaseled in a way that he'll get an earn out of it. But,
But what about the fact that I'm a life member, then I get an email every week on the tickets, and this other section said, "We haven't got your email."
Right.
Same club. So I only got it last week. So I'm hoping you got yours late too.
Yeah, no, they only got sent out last week, that's for sure.
So maybe we were both banned.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Do you laugh as much like we're laughing here in your box over there?
It's ABC.
More analytical.
Brownie, bite your tongue. Honestly, come on. Now, if I get sacked from there, some one of you blokes has got to go.
Stevie. There's Stevie's first one out.
Is there two of them there or one?
Just because I dined out on your team, Nick, and I got 4 in the 2011 grand final. I know you've got a long memory, but mate, just put those thoughts aside, okay?
That's right. They did say that he's a big head. I don't think I got Lingy next to me and he doesn't talk well. He's going to cause some real trouble in there, isn't it?
Yeah. We might have to let you go. I didn't think
We appreciate your time, Mick. Mickey Roberts has walked.
Yeah.
Did you play with Mick?
I played with his father. No, I didn't. Benjamin Button.
Yeah,
He looks good,
Did you play against Robbo? Did you belt him?
Mick can't remember. Mick, Robbo's going, yeah, I did. Mick can't remember.
We played against each other, Mick.
And?
Did he belt you?
Yeah, he was in the back pocket, so I just started on the ball the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going down there. That's stupid. That's ridiculous.
Don't make out something that I'm not.
Oh, come
Very
on.
skilled player.
Come on.
Have a good day. If you're tuning in, ABC.
The coach of the Collingwood Football Club when they won a premiership back in 2010, Mick Malthouse joining us. Also the coach of West Coast when they won a couple of premierships as well. And then he went on to the Blues. It wasn't as good at the Blues, but that was an unbelievable...
he just came in and started running material.
5 minutes, and I tell you what, the other box,
his best.
they didn't look happy, the other box.
No, he wouldn't speak at the start until he got a thumbs up, and I don't think the thumbs up ever came, so he just went rogue anyway.
They didn't like it at all.
Mick at his peak, tell us, Daisy, what was
Peak
the
Mick.
the magic? What was the special sauce in Mick Malthouse as a coach? He was a fearsome operator back in the day. What was he to you boys?
He had 100% buy-in from the players. And I'm talking 100%, whether or not you were sent to the twos and told to do a role and you get back in. So he was extremely harsh, but in the same breath, extremely fair that if you did the role, you'd get your opportunities. Everybody was on the same page. But if he told the best player, if it was Swanee or Pendles, to go and play a defensive role, they'd go and do it for the betterment of the side.
So why didn't it work for him at Carlton, do you reckon?
Well, for that exact reason. He didn't have 100% buy-in from a lot of people.
Why was that, do you reckon?
I don't know. It was just a complete different profile. He built the side up from Collingwood in terms of like getting the players there. And it probably was a 4 or 5 year process to get them to, the 2006, 2007, 2008, where we were starting to compete. At the Blues, you inherit what you take, and that was it.